It began on a quiet evening at the Red Lake Observatory, perched on a rocky hill above a small desert town. The sky was clear, and the stars shone like distant lanterns in the dark. Inside the control room, Dr. Hannah Lee stared at the bank of screens and dials. She leaned forward, adjusting her glasses. Something unusual was happening. Over the radio, her assistant's voice cracked. "Hannah, do you see this?" Hannah moved closer to the main display. A thin, regular pattern appeared on the signal analyzer, a curious, pulsing rhythm. It looked like static, but it wasn't just noise. It repeated cleanly, with a precision that felt deliberate. She frowned. "What is it?" The assistant shook her head. "Don't know. It's not from any satellite or known source. It's single quotes S. different." Despite the late hour, a handful of staff joined them. Each leaned toward the data, their expressions turning from dull curiosity to growing astonishment. Before long, alarm bells didn't ring physically, but in their eyes. Hannah traced the signal's path. It came from deep space, far beyond anything human-made. Then, she noticed something impossible. The signal shaped itself into patterns, regular patterns. Not code, exactly more like speech. Certain spikes rose higher, then fell like letters being spoken. She tapped her lips. Could it be English? "Seems like," the assistant whispered. No one spoke for a moment. The world held its breath. Suddenly, the signal jumped longer this time, then longer still. It formed simple words, spoken clearly, as if someone or something spoke directly into their equipment. A hush fell as the voice resonated. "Help us, everyone." Froze. The words echoed through the room. It was unmistakable. Not garbled, not distorted. Perfect English. No accent, no echo. Hannah's heartbeat thundered in her ears. Did you all hear that? They watched the signal form more words. "We are coming." She almost didn't believe it. Was this a prank? A mistake? Or something else? She reached for the mic. "We read you. This is Red Lake Observatory. Identify yourself." Static crackled. The words came once more, clearer than before. Then the signal cut off like a light switched off. Outside the observatory, the wind shifted. A strange stillness hung over the desert. Inside, the researchers stared at each other, silent and wide-eyed. Hannah tried her voice again. "We're recording everything. Please repeat." She hit recall. A moment later, the signal resumed, only this time, the tone was darker, urgent. "They will come." A chill swept through everyone. No one moved. No one spoke. Finally, Hannah said, "Stay here. I'll alert authorities." She grabbed her phone and stepped outside. The night stretched wide. Lights from the observatory's tower flickered. The desert was still. But from somewhere high above, a faint hum seemed to echo in her bones. A mile away, at the Iris Defense Complex, deep underground, lights blinked across high-security doors. A man in a sharp uniform, Colonel Marcus Steele, paced through long, dim hallways. Soldiers escorted him. On his tablet, an alert pulsed. Unidentified deep space transmission. He narrowed his eyes. Steele had seen many alarms. This one made his pulse quicken. They reached a heavy blast door. Beyond it lay the command center, a vast room humming with servers and secure lines. Inside, dozens of screens showed satellite positions, telescope feeds, global radar. But the room fell silent when Steele entered. He tapped the largest screen. "We got this from Red Lake," someone said. A tech specialist pointed to the feed. "They say it's English, Colonel." Steele leaned forward. "English? Play it." The feed crackled, and everyone heard. "Help us. We are coming. Beware. They will come." Steele's jaw tightened. He felt a familiar mix of dread and focus. This was no ordinary signal. He pressed a button on his tablet. "Lock everything down. Activate the connection to NORAD. Notify the president. Also secure Project Revenant files. Now. A hush followed. Everyone moved fast. Files on a hidden super soldier program, declassified only by need to know, began to flicker on screens. Steele's voice held steel. They might be here already. Meanwhile, at the International Space Communications Hub in Germany, technicians also received the signal. They debated over coffee and shared nervous glances. Late in the night, all major observatories now heard the same message. Satellites confirmed. It across the globe. Bits of the signal bounced off satellites and re-entered terrestrial receivers, appearing in Tokyo, Riyadh, Sao Paulo, Johannesburg. In every country. Scientists and military analysts scrambled to identify it. Governments issued quiet emergency memos. News media started to buzz with speculation. Strange signal from deep space. Is it a warning? But nobody knew who they were. Who was sending this? And what did they mean by, "They will come"? Back at Red Lake, Hannah sat before the control screens. She replayed the signal. Each repeat added a shadow of dread. Could it be a trick by hackers? Impossible. Not so perfectly human. It felt personal, ominous. She leaned back and spoke into the mic. "If you hear us, state your location and identity." For a long moment silence. Then the words returned. "We are not alone." Her mind raced. Who were they? And why warn? Then, on one screen, a blip appeared, a tiny dot moving at impossible speed, deep in space. It was tiny, but it was there. Someone zoomed in. The blip moved closer, then vanished from that telescope's view. Hannah stared. Her voice trembled. It moved. She alerted Colonel Steele's team. That same night, somewhere in the Pacific Ocean, a deep-sea research vessel caught the signal faintly, an echo underwater, as if the waves were singing. On board, the crew paused their work, looked across the ship, and felt the same quiet fear. No one spoke. They stared at the waters, wide and dark. By dawn, news reports covered the story carefully. Governments described a possible cosmic anomaly. Urged calm, but in secret circles, mobilization started. Defense forces were put on alert worldwide. Satellites were maneuvered. Ships and jets moved into position. Hannah was summoned to a secure briefing at Iris. She arrived in the bright morning haze, escorted by military police. Inside, Colonel Steele waited in front of a bank of screens. He looked at her, his posture sharp. "Dr. Lee, I'm Colonel Steele." She nodded. "You asked for me?" He gestured to the screen showing satellite feeds and the audio waveforms. "You detected a signal from deep space. It's addressed in English. We heard words, help. US, we are coming. Beware, they will come. We are not alone. Correct?" She swallowed. "That's right." Steele's gaze pinned her. "Understand this. The defense of Earth may hinge on that message. Do you have any idea who they are?" Hannah shook her head. "We don't know. We don't even know if it's friendly." His eyes softened slightly. "Let's assume the worst. If someone is sending a warning, it means danger is real." He tapped a screen. Images appeared. Lookouts across the Earth. Satellites sweeping, radar lighting up. Red Lake's data was the first. Since then, observatories in Moscow, Beijing, Paris, Mumbai, Sydney all have recorded the same signal. Hannah tried to steady her voice. "Why repeat? Why not just burst at once?" Steele nodded. "Because it's a warning. Not a one-time alert, it's a broadcast. It's meant to be heard everywhere. It's meant to reach us all at once." He turned to his staff. "Activate global coordination. Inform the president. Prepare for any response." Then he faced Hannah. "You follow the technical readings. We'll work on the military aspect. Can you track where the signal came from? Precise location?" She nodded. "I'll do my best." He paused and said quietly, "You've given us a voice. Now we need your help and your silence." Hannah swallowed hard. She understood. This was bigger than she ever imagined. Outside, the world turned darker. News tickers reported mysterious signals and global alert, but no one spoke of panic. Cities continued. Planes flew, life went on. But behind the scenes, satellite dishes turned skyward, alert levels changed, and cold voices spoke in code. And far above, in the silent sea of space, someone or something listened. Later that night, Hannah returned to the observatory, unable to sleep. She reviewed the signal again and again. Her eyes stung, brain buzzed with questions. Why English? Who sent it? Who warned it? Every so often, she played one phrase like a mantra. "They will come." She stared at the heavens. Each star seemed to watch her back. She stood and walked outside. The desert wind whispered. Somewhere overhead, satellites tracked signals. The hum of distant engines, military drones, sliced the night. Hannah closed her eyes, a strange calm, and a deep chill back. Inside, the computer beeped. The signal returned brief, a ghostly pulse of English words. She caught the last phrase as she pressed record. "Prepare." Days passed, but Hannah's mind stayed in that night. She heard echoes. In dreams, she saw dark shapes in space, speaking. She felt the signal in her bones, as if it were calling. To her. At Red Lake, small groups of travelers arrived, journalists, defense agents, curious tourists. They clustered near the gate. Phones recorded the dish pointed skyward. But they did not know. They did not sense the warning's weight. One evening, Hannah stepped outside to fend them off. A local reporter approached her. "Dr. Lee," she said. "Is it aliens? Will they come? Are we safe?" Hannah paused. She looked out at the sky, searching for answers. She thought of Colonel Steele, of global alerts, of secret plans. Then she sighed softly, clearly. "I don't know. But someone or something is warning us. We have to listen." The reporter's eyes widened. "So. We're not alone?" She swallowed. "No, we're not alone." Back in the desert sky, the observatory light blinked. The dish turned, seeking. Somewhere, a signal waited to be found again. Cliffhanger for Part 2. In the final moments of Part 1, an unknown blip appears on radar. Earth's defenses tremble. And far above, a ship no bigger than a satellite drifts silently into view behind the moon. A soft, alien voice. "We have arrived." The warning came days before, through a voice that was not human. Now, the sky was silent. But silence has weight. And over Earth, something had begun to change. Point 1. The calm before the storm. It started like any normal morning. In New York, people drank coffee. In Delhi, horns honked in traffic. In Tokyo, trains ran on time. All seemed well, but in secret places, military bases, intelligence centers, research labs, no one slept. The signal was real. And something was coming. In the Eros Defense Complex, Colonel Marcus Steele stood before a massive screen. Behind him, rows of officers worked fast. Satellites were scanning the moon, Mars, deep space. Steele stared at a blinking dot. It had appeared behind the moon. No orbit, no signal, no response. 1. Tech said, "Sir, it's moving." Not falling, controlled flight. Steele didn't blink. "Is it one ship?" The tech's voice shook. "No, sir, it's a formation. Over 300 ships." Steele turned to his aide. "Alert all global channels. DEFCON 1. This is not a drill." 2. Global panic in Paris. News anchors whispered rumors. A fleet in orbit? In Moscow, generals locked borders. In Beijing, satellites realigned. At Red Lake Observatory, Dr. Hannah Lee hadn't slept. Her fingers trembled as she typed. She was watching the radar feed when she saw it. A second blip. Then a third, then 1,000. She gasped. "They're here," she whispered. Suddenly, the observatory lights flickered. Computers restarted. A low hum filled the air, deep and strange, like metal breathing. Then came the flash, high above Earth. A ripple of red light spread through the sky. All over the planet, people looked up. The sky turned red, not like sunset. This was blood red, wrong, deep and burning. The sun dimmed. The clouds seemed frozen. Birds fell silent. Radios hissed static. Car alarms screamed. Dogs barked wildly. Children cried. Point 3. The landing at exactly 3:42 p.m. GMT. The first object entered Earth's atmosphere. It didn't burn. It didn't slow. It hovered. In Antarctica, where no nation ruled, the first alien ship touched down. Shaped like a needle, tall and dark, it landed without sound. No doors opened. No creatures came out, but the snow around it melted instantly. Cameras in orbit recorded everything. Governments watched but did not act. A second ship landed in the Sahara Desert, a third in the Amazon jungle, a fourth above the Pacific Ocean. This one didn't land. It floated in midair, turning slowly, like it was watching. Then, all around the world, screens turned on by themselves. No matter the channel, no matter the device, phones, TVs, computers, all began to show one thing: a shape. A circle made of shifting lines, then a voice, not human, but clear. It said only, "Do not resist. This world is taken." 4. Project Revenant. The forgotten weapon inside the Era's complex. Colonel Steele moved fast. He entered a steel elevator, went deep underground, past 6 security levels, until he reached a dark hallway. He typed a code. A door hissed open. Inside was a cold, empty room with one object, a black pod the size of a coffin. Frozen gas rose from its edges. This was Project Revenant, a secret so buried, even presidents didn't know the full story. Steele stood before the pod. He hesitated, then pressed his hand to the scanner. The pod lights blinked green. Status: containment. Integrity stable. Subject alive. Steele took a breath. God help us. He typed one command: awaken. The pod hissed louder. Something inside stirred. 5. A new kind of fear back in the sky. The red light was spreading. But it wasn't just light, it was a field. A kind of energy net. Fighter jets couldn't fly through it. Satellites stopped responding. Earth's most powerful weapons became useless. In London, soldiers waited with tanks. In Los Angeles, sirens wailed. People ran. Some prayed. Some screamed. Others simply looked up. On the streets, phones buzzed with the same voice again. We are here to cleanse. You are not worthy. But then, something strange happened. In Antarctica, the ground shook. A low boom echoed across the ice. The alien ship turned, slowly. Then something burst out of the snow below it. A man, barefoot, shirtless, steam rising from his skin. Eyes pure white. The air around him cracked like glass. The ship scanned him. Then the impossible. The ship took a step back. 6. Awakening the Revenant deep underground. Colonel Steele watched feeds from Antarctica. His voice trembled. He's awake. Scientists behind him whispered, impossible. He was dead. Steele replied, he's not human anymore. Flashback. The Revenant was once a soldier, human, used in a secret experiment during the last World War. Something went wrong. His body broke the rules of life and death. He didn't die. He changed. He became a living weapon. Too dangerous to keep awake, too powerful to destroy. They buried him in the coldest place on Earth. Until now. 7. The first strike in Antarctica. The alien ship fired a pulse. Bright blue energy shot toward the REVENT. It hit. Snow exploded. Ice shattered. A shockwave shook the ground. Smoke filled the air. Silence. Then footsteps. The Revenant walked through the fire. Skin glowing, unhurt. He raised one hand. From the sky, Lightning struck down not from weather, but from him. The ship's armor cracked. Then it exploded. In one moment, Earth struck back, and the message was clear. Humanity was not helpless. 8. A new message across the world. People cheered. They didn't know who the man was. They just knew something fought for them. In the alien fleet, hidden behind the moon, panic spread. They had underestimated this world. They called Earth a simple rock, but they had awakened something older than them. On the largest alien ship, a creature spoke in its strange tongue. Initiate Phase 2. Bring the Purge fleet. 9. Back on Earth, Colonel Steele watched the data feeds. His face was pale. He turned to his team. That wasn't the war. That was the warning shot. Hannah stood beside him. That man Revenant, what is he? Steele didn't look at her. He was once one of us. Now he's something else. Can he stop them? She asked. I don't know, Steele said quietly. But he's our only chance. 10. Ending cliffhanger somewhere far from Earth. Deep in space, a new signal is sent. It's not English. It's alien and angry. On Earth, the Revenant looks to the sky. His white eyes narrow. He whispers, they'll come stronger next time. The skies were still red. Earth had seen something unbelievable. One alien ship destroyed, not by a weapon, not by an army, but by a single man. He had no name, no voice. The world only knew one thing. He was back. 1. A cold secret. Cold winds of Antarctica blew across sharp ice fields. A cloud of smoke and burning metal still hung in the air where the alien ship had fallen. Standing alone in the snow was the Revenant, bare feet. No armor, no gun, yet his skin glowed faintly. His body steamed in the freezing air. His eyes were pure white. He was not breathing hard, not hurt. Just waiting. Military drones watched from above, afraid to go closer. Satellites tried to scan him, but the data kept glitching. It was like he didn't exist. Back in the Iris Defense Complex, Colonel Marcus Steele stared at the live feed. A scientist behind him asked, Sir, what now? Steele didn't answer. Instead, he opened a file labeled Project Revenant, Eyes Only. 2. Origin 70 years ago. During the final months of World War II, secret experiments were done under the highest level of government secrecy. It was called Project Revenant. The goal? Create a soldier who couldn't die. They used unknown science, ancient materials, and one subject, a decorated soldier named Jack Voss. But something went wrong. The first time they tried the procedure, his body went into shock. His heart stopped. Everyone thought he was dead. 3 days later he woke up. No heartbeat. No brain activity on scans, yet he moved. He spoke. He had changed. Faster, stronger. But something was missing his soul. He remembered war, but not who he was. He had no fear, no pain, no limits. In one secret mission, he took down an enemy base alone and survived a direct missile strike. But then, he went silent. He walked off the battlefield and vanished into the mountains. Years later, they found him in the Arctic. Still alive. Still the same age. And still dangerous. So they did the only thing they could. They froze him. Buried him deep. Under miles of ice. Until now. 3. He wakes in Antarctica. The Revenant stood still. The ice around him was blackened from the blast. The sky above was red. He looked up. He saw the stars. But he remembered something. Another sky. Another time. A war not from Earth. He whispered the word. Purge. 4. The alien fear in orbit. The alien fleet began to move. Inside their largest ship, a command leader screamed in its native tongue. Its skin was gray and smooth, like a lizard. And a bird mixed. Eyes glowing. No mouth. One survived, it hissed. One destroyed a ship. Another answered, we were told this planet had no defense. Then we were told wrong. They scanned again. The data confused them. The human who destroyed the ship. It didn't match any known life form. Is it a weapon? No. It is worse. The commander growled. Call the purge fleet, now. 5. Hannah's realization. Back at Red Lake Observatory, Dr. Hannah Lee watched the data stream. She didn't sleep. Her mind was racing. Something in the alien signal still bothered her. She played it again. Help us. We are coming. Beware. They will come. Then she noticed something. The voice that sent the message wasn't alien. It was human. A chill ran through her. She ran to her computer and cross-checked audio logs, compared it to old data, and froze. The voice matched military recordings from 1953, a secret message classified under Operation Revenant. Recovery. It was Jack Voss's voice. He had sent the message from the past. Point 6. The Revenant's mind far away. The Revenant walked across the ice. He didn't know how long he had been frozen, but he remembered. Pain, fire, metal, experiments. He remembered them telling him he was saving the world. He remembered dying. Again and again, but he always came back, and now he was awake. He looked at the stars. They were watching him. He whispered, "It's not over." 7. Alien counterattack in the Sahara Desert. The second alien ship powered up. It had scanned Earth's defense systems. Weak. Slow. Easy. So it struck. From the ship's belly, hundreds of metallic drones flew out, like insects. They swarmed a nearby city, shutting down power, melting machines, capturing people. Then they stopped. They didn't move. They froze mid-air. Glitched. One by one. They fell from the sky. Boom. Boom. Some exploded. Some shattered. In the smoke stood a shadow, the Revenant, eyes glowing brighter. He had crossed half the planet in under 2 minutes. No plane. No ship. Just him. 8. The message from him back at Iris. A red alert buzzed. Steele rushed to the main control room. We're receiving a signal. A tech shouted. It's not alien. It's him. Everyone turned to the screen. The Revenant stood in the smoke, shirtless, blood on his hands. He looked directly at a satellite camera and said, "They came for us before. We stopped them. You erased it. You buried me. Now they've returned. I will stop them again." And then silence. Steele closed his eyes. He remembers. 9. World reaction. Every news channel replayed the footage. Who is this man? Is he human? Is he a threat or a savior? Millions began calling him the Revenant. Some called him a god. Some called him a demon. In churches and temples, people prayed. In streets, they marched. In bunkers, world leaders argued. But in space. The enemy prepared. 10. Final moments. The real weapon. Colonel Steele met with Hannah in a private chamber. He played the old files. Operation Revenant was not just a weapon test. It was a war memory from another world. Hannah's voice shook. Are you saying this has happened before? Steele nodded. Not on Earth, but yes. She stared. And he won? Steele said nothing. Then whispered, he was the weapon. But what scared them wasn't what he did. It was what he became. Suddenly, the screen's glitched. All went dark. One signal appeared. Alien voice. You were warned. You woke the curse. Then, we are no longer invaders. We are survivors. Now we burn your world. Cliffhanger ending for Part 4. The sky turns red again. The ground shakes. From deep space, the Purge fleet arrives. Bigger, stronger, angry, on Earth. The Revenant looks up. Then, he smiles. The red sky loomed heavy above Earth. The alien threat was no longer a distant shadow. It was real, close, and growing. And deep beneath the frozen ice of Antarctica, the Revenant stirred once more. 1. The heart of ice. The underground lab was cold, darker than the frozen world outside. Inside the steel chamber, the Revenant lay on a table, his skin still glowing. faintly in the dim light. Machines hummed around him, wires connected to his body like veins of metal. Colonel Steele watched closely, pacing the room. Around him, scientists checked monitors, whispering quietly. "This is beyond anything we've seen," Dr. Hannah Lee said, eyes wide. Steele nodded. "He's not just alive, he's changing." "Changing how?" she asked. The Revenant's chest rose and fell, but the rhythm was different. Almost like a machine, almost like a heartbeat. But not quite. A low, deep sound filled the room. It was his breath. But it was not like a human's. It was slow, heavy, like a beast. Steele frowned. "He's not just a soldier. He's something else." 2. Ancient Science flashback to 1945. A dusty, hidden bunker deep in the mountains. Scientists in stained lab coats gathered around a body lying on a cold table. Jack Voss. They injected him with glowing liquid, ancient metals ground to powder, and whispered words in a language no one understood. A strange machine powered on a huge coil that pulsed with blue energy. The machine hummed louder and louder. Voss's eyes snapped open. His heart started beating, and the impossible happened. He breathed again. That day, science and something unknown combined to create a living weapon. 3. Breath of power back in the present. The Revenant's chest rose again. Steele and Hannah watched as the machines monitored his vitals. His strength was not from flesh. It was from energy. Something old, something powerful was growing inside him. Suddenly, the lights flickered. The temperature in the room dropped. The Revenant sat up. His eyes flashed bright white. He spoke no words, just a sound. A low growl. The machines beeped wildly. Steele stepped back. He's awake. And angry. 4. An unexpected ally. Meanwhile, far above the Arctic Circle, a sleek black helicopter landed near the Eris Defense Complex. A woman stepped out. Her name was Maya Seun, a former intelligence agent known for her knowledge of alien tech. She had been tracking strange signals from deep space. She walked into the lab without knocking. "Colonel Steele," she said. "We have a problem." Steele glanced at her. "What kind of problem?" Maya handed him a tablet. On it was a live feed from satellites. The purge fleet was moving closer. But that wasn't all. "There's something else," Maya said quietly. "A signal coming from inside Earth." 5. The signal within. Steele frowned. "Inside Earth? What do you mean?" Maya pointed to the screen. "Look here." Deep inside Earth's mantle, a pulsing energy was detected. "It's old. Ancient." Maya explained. "It's connected to the Revenant." Steele's eyes widened. "You think he's more than just a weapon?" Maya nodded. "He is the weapon and the key." 6. Earth's hidden power. Hannah studied the data. "This energy, it's not just in him. It's in the planet." She looked up, voice shaking. Maybe the Revenant was never just a soldier. Maybe he was made to awaken something inside Earth. Steele stared at the red sky outside. "Something the aliens don't know." A deep rumble shook the base. 7. Alien strategy far in space. The Purge Fleet. Commander studied the reports. The Revenant was not a simple soldier. He was something alive. More than that, he was connected to Earth itself. The commander growled. "We must control that power." He ordered the fleet to prepare a massive attack. Destroy the Revenant. Burn the planet if we must. 8. The awakening. Back in the lab, the Revenant stood. His breathing deepened, the glowing in his skin growing stronger. Steele stepped closer. "Who are you?" he asked. The Revenant's voice was rough but clear. "I am what remains." "Of what?" Steele pressed. "Of war and survival." He looked toward the ceiling, toward the sky. "They will come. And we will fight," Steele said. 9. Earth responds outside. The red sky began to crack. Lightning danced across the clouds. A powerful storm rose, as if the planet itself was waking. Hannah whispered, "The planet is alive." The Revenant turned to the windows. I am its heart. 10. The final warning. Suddenly, alarms blared. The Purge fleet had entered Earth's orbit. The battle was about to begin. Steele looked at the Revenant. Can you stop them? The Revenant smiled faintly. Don't just fight. I am the fight. Ending cliffhanger outside. The sky burned red. The alien ships moved like a storm. But on Earth, a new force had awakened. The Revenant took a deep breath and whispered, "Let them come." The red sky cracked with thunder. Far above Earth, the Purge fleet had arrived. The countdown to humanity's end had begun. But Earth had one thing the invaders never expected. Not a weapon. Not a machine. A man. 1. Arrival across the sky. Thousands of alien ships blocked the stars. Each ship was silent, cold, shaped like a blade. They moved without sound, like shadows across space. In the Iris Defense Complex, alarms screamed. Steele stood in the command room, watching the live feed from satellites. The Purge fleet had fully entered Earth's orbit. "We're outnumbered," one officer said. "Completely." Steele didn't blink. "We're not outmatched." He turned to the screen showing the Revenant, still standing in the lab, glowing. "Calm, he's ready." 2. Message from the enemy all over the world. Every screen turned on at once. TVs, phones, laptops, even powered-off machines blinked to life. A dark, alien voice spoke in perfect English. "You had your warning. Your time is over. Earth will be cleansed." Then came silence. And then ... fire. 3. The first strike from orbit, the alien fleet fired planet-wide shockwaves. Massive red beams struck the oceans. Waves exploded into the sky. Mountains cracked, forests caught fire, satellites melted. Planes dropped from the air. In cities across the globe, chaos. People ran. Cried. Amid the horror, something strange happened. 4. The shield. The sky above certain regions began to glow blue. Not everywhere, only in circles. Like ancient marks burned into Earth. The alien beams bounced off, harmless. Inside the Iris base, Maya stared at the readings. "What is that?" Hannah gasped. "It's Earth's defense." Maya frowned. "We don't have that technology." "No," Hannah said. "But he does." 5. Revenant moves. The Revenant opened his eyes. He was glowing brighter, now white light moving across his skin like liquid. He didn't speak. He just walked out as he stepped outside the facility. The sky above the base turned blue. Soldiers and scientists stared in shock. Some fell to their knees. One whispered, "He's protecting us. Just by being here." The air trembled. The Revenant disappeared, gone in a flash of light. Seconds later, he reappeared in Tokyo, where alien drones were attacking civilians. He tore through them like paper. 6. Human reaction people recorded him on their phones. A man glowing like a star, lifting alien war machines and crushing them. He didn't speak. He didn't rest. He just fought. Across the globe, the video spread. Who is he? Is he human? Is he ... our savior? Even news anchors wept as they played the footage. Hope was returning. 7. The child, but in a quiet village in South America, something else was happening. A small boy stood in the middle of a dirt road. His eyes were turning white. His mother screamed. But the boy didn't cry. He whispered, "I see him." Thousands of miles away, the Revenant paused mid-battle. He looked east, toward the child, and whispered back, "You feel it too." 8. Connection at Iris Base. Maya and Hannah studied new data. Energy spikes were appearing all over the world, not from machines, but from people. Mostly children. Maya stared. "They're waking up." Hannah's voice trembled. "It's spreading. He's activating them." Steele stepped forward. "What do you mean activating?" Hannah turned. "Whatever made him. It's in others now." "A disease?" Steele asked. "No," Hannah said. "A gift." 9. The alien fear in orbit. The Purge commander watched in horror. Thousands of ships had landed. But in every region, they were being stopped. Not by missiles, not by tanks, by light. Human light, the Revenant, wasn't alone anymore. More were rising, children, teenagers, few adults, glowing, breathing like him, connected, alive, the alien screamed. This planet was a prison. And one of his generals replied, "We've freed what they locked away." 10. Revenants passed in a broken city. The Revenant stood above wreckage. His body flickered like lightning. His hands were burned, but healing fast. He remembered long ago. Another planet. Another war. He wasn't created by Earth's government. He was brought here to sleep. To recover. He wasn't a weapon made by humans. He was one of the first protectors. A being left behind. And now. Awaken. 11. Final push. Colonel Steele activated Earth's last defense system. Not missiles, not nukes, but power grid boosters to support the rising lights. "Give them energy," he shouted. Every military base began sending power toward the signal centers where gifted humans had awakened. Across deserts, cities, oceans, glowing figures began to rise into the air. The Revenant led them. 12. The counterattack in orbit. Alien ships turned toward the rising threat. They fired everything. But the Revenant flew forward through fire, through metal. He tore into the command ship with bare hands, and as it exploded, he sent one message to all humans: "You are not broken. You are not weak. You are the fire." The world watched as the sky lit up. Alien ships falling. Earth rising. 13. Cliffhanger ending. Back on the ground. The child with glowing eyes stood on a mountain. He whispered, "They're not gone. Not yet." The sky cracked again. A black portal opened near the moon, and from it, something massive emerged. Bigger than all before, the real threat. The Revenant looked up. And smiled. The sky was full of fire. Alien ships burned, crashing into the oceans, the forests, the mountains. But one thing still stood tall, glowing, silent, watching. The man who should have died long ago, but never did. 1. After the battle, the Earth was quiet. Too quiet. Smoke rose from broken cities. Buildings stood half destroyed. But people had stopped running. They stared at the sky, waiting, wondering. Was it over? Was the war finished? Maya stood on a rooftop, eyes on the horizon. "I don't think this is the end," she whispered. Hannah stood beside her. "It feels like the beginning." 2. Still standing in the center of a ruined battlefield, the Revenant stood. He was covered in ashen light. His skin burned, but healing. Fast. His chest moved slowly. He was breathing, not like a man, like something deeper. The soldiers near him whispered to each other. He didn't even fall. He walked through a blast that melted metal. One soldier stepped forward and asked, "Sir, what are you?" The Revenant didn't answer. He just turned, looking toward the stars. 3. In the shadows of the moon far above Earth, in the dark space behind the moon, something moved. A ship, huge, black, silent. It was different from the others. It didn't blink. It didn't fire. It watched. Inside, the Overmind, the real leader of the alien species, spoke without sound. "He lives. The human weapon lives." Another voice replied, "No, he is not human." 4. The child returns in a quiet mountain village. The glowing child from earlier walked, alone, into the forest. Birds didn't fly away from him. Even the wind felt softer around him. He closed his eyes and whispered, "I can hear him." The Revenant heard it 2 miles away, across the world. He stopped moving. The voices were growing stronger. More like him were waking. 5. Truth from the past. That night, Hannah entered the Revenant's chamber. He sat alone, breathing softly, eyes closed. "I know you remember more now," she said. He nodded. "I wasn't made here," he said, voice deep and slow. "I was brought here." "From where?" she asked. He looked up. His eyes glowed faintly. From a war you've never heard. Ulf. 6. The other war flashback begins a planet, large, blue and white, not Earth. The Revenant, younger, still human-looking, fights beside other beings, some tall, some winged. Some made of pure light. An army of darkness attacks. Planets fall. Stars go out. The Revenant is wounded badly, but not dead. A ship carries his broken body to Earth, a safe place. Long forgotten by the galaxy, a voice says, let him sleep. If the dark ever finds Earth, he will wake. Flashback N7. The fear spreads back on the alien command ship. The Overmind speaks again. This was a mistake. We thought Earth was weak. But we touched something ancient. One general replies. Should we retreat? No, the Overmind answers. We must erase the memory of this weapon. Send the final destroyer. 8. Final destroyer approaches from deep space. Something begins moving. It is not a ship. It is a live. Black as night, the size of a city. Covered in armor and pulsing red veins. Its name is the Devour. That it does not think, that it does not stop, that it only ends. 9. The human connection in cities around the world. More children are waking up. Some cry. Some laugh. All feel connected to the Revenant. Maya watches them with wide eyes. He's not just fighting. He's spreading, Hannah whispers. Like a signal, Steele steps forward. He's not a weapon anymore. He's a spark. 10. The man who can't die that night. The Revenant walks through the ruins of a city. He touches a wall. It heals slightly. Plants grow from the cracks. He's changing. More human. And less human. A child walks up to him and says, "You're not afraid?" The Revenant kneels and answers softly, "I died once. Does it hurt?" The child asks. "No," he says, "but it changes you." The child blinks. "You came back." "Yes," he replies, "because Earth called me." 11. The Devourer arrives far above the Earth's orbit. Space turns black. The stars vanish. The Devourer is here. It opens a mouth of endless darkness. It begins to pull Earth's oceans upward. Tides rise. Gravity shifts. Lightning falls from clear skies. People scream. And the Revenant stands still. 12. A breath before battle. Hannah watches him on the monitors. He's calm. She says. Maya steps back. Too calm. Suddenly, the Revenant vanishes again. This time, he doesn't teleport across the Earth. He appears in space. Right in front of the Devour. No suit. No ship. Just him. His breath fogs space like steam. And then, he speaks. "You took my first life. You won't take this world." 13. Cliffhanger ending. The Devourer roars. Its body begins to change, forming weapons of black crystal. The Revenant closes his eyes and opens his arms. Behind him, Earth glows, thousands of lights, from humans, from children, from cities. Not fear. Hope. And as the Devourer charges, the Revenant moves, faster than light. The screen cuts to black. One final word appears. The Devourer fell from the sky, not defeated, but confused. Afraid. For the first time in its long life. It hesitated, and down below, the humans watched the man who wouldn't die begin to change everything. 1. The crash. The Devourer hit the Pacific Ocean like a meteor. Tsunam. Ice rose. Clouds burned. But when the waves calmed, it was silent. No more attack. No more hunger. Something had gone wrong. Point 2. Inside the beast, deep within the Devourer, systems tried to restart, weapons rebooted, engines repaired. But something foreign had entered. A white light, small, quiet, was moving through its circuits, changing the code, not breaking it, rewriting it. And in its core, something screamed, "He's inside us." 3. At the base back on Earth, at the Eris complex, Maya stared at new readings. The energy from the Revenant was no longer just protecting Earth. It was spreading. Not just across humans. But across alien tech. It's like a virus, she said. Hannah shook her head. No, viruses kill. This is worse. What is it then? Hannah looked at the screen. It's making them feel. And they've never felt before. 4. Fear in the fleet in orbit. Alien generals watched the Devourers sink. They heard the signal garbled, full of emotion. Fear, pain, confusion. What is this feeling? One commander asked. It's what the humans live with every day. Said another. We were not meant to feel. Then why does it hurt? And yet, why do I want more? Silence. And then, one ship broke formation. It turned away from Earth. Deserters. 5. The girl in the ruins in a city turned to ash. A young girl stood in front of a broken statue. She was alone. Or so it seemed. Her hand began to glow pale blue. An alien scout ship hovered. It aimed its weapon. She turned slowly. Her eyes glowed. The alien stopped. It couldn't fire. It looked into her eyes and dropped its weapon. Then it sat down. 6. Maya's discovery. Maya connected the data from all awakened humans, children, adults, some soldiers, a few elders. Every one of them was now linked, even while apart. They shared thoughts, emotions, memories, a growing minefield. They're building something. Maya whispered. Hannah nodded. A collective. Steele stepped forward. A new species? No, Hannah said. An evolution of ours. 7. Revenant's vision high above Earth. The Revenant floated alone. Stars around him. He closed his eyes and saw everything. A boy in Africa lifting rubble to save his sister. A woman in Russia glowing bright enough to stop frost. An alien commander in orbit, weeping for the first time. The Revenant's voice echoed across the network. You were meant to feel. You were meant to choose. Now choose. 8. Inside the alien Minden, the core of the alien overmind. Something cracked. A memory appeared. Something it had buried for eons. A world it had destroyed. And the face of a child it couldn't forget. It screamed. Get him out. But the Revenant's signal was already inside, not as code, not as data, but as emotion. 9. Descent of the Deserters. 7 alien ships broke from orbit. They landed across the globe. Weapons dropped. Doors opened. Aliens stepped out, not to fight, but to kneel. They said nothing, but their minds said everything. We don't want to be monsters. 10. The contagion spreads back on Earth. Maya showed the maps to Steele. The infection wasn't slowing down. It was accelerating. More humans were waking. More aliens were changing. Even the Earth itself was responding, weather patterns shifting. Plants growing faster near the awakened. It's like Earth is healing, Hannah whispered. Steele frowned. And what happens if it heals too fast? 11. The resistance rises. Not everyone liked what was happening. In secret bunkers, human leaders gathered. They feared the awakening, feared change. This is unnatural, one general growled. He's no man, he's a god. Another whispered. And gods make slaves. They began to build something old. A weapon meant to stop the Revenant. If he ever turned. 12. Revenant alone that night. The Revenant walked into a quiet desert. No cameras. No followers. No glowing light. He sat on the sand. Alone. A memory played in his mind. A friend he once lost. Another planet. Another war, he remembered. Failing, he remembered dying. He looked at his hands. I am not what they think. I am the last mistake of another world. 13. Cliffhanger ending. Back in space. Something was moving, not a ship, not a creature. A signal older than the Revenant. Older than war. It pulsed once, and across space. Something woke up. Something coming. The Revenant opened his eyes and whispered. They heard me. Cut to black. The sky above Earth was no longer silent. It was alive. Lights danced across space. Ships hovered like insects frozen in thought. And in the middle of it all floated one man, a revenant, not a weapon, not a god. Just. The last memory of a forgotten war. And now, the galaxy had remembered him. One. Signals in the sky from deep space. A new signal had arrived. It was not hostile. Not yet, but it was ancient, older than any human system, older than even the mind. It carried no words. Only music, notes that echoed in human minds, like dreams. Hannah heard them first. So did the awakened children. And the revenant? He simply whispered, "They are here." 2. History that was hidden in the Iris complex. Maya was decoding old satellite logs. She found something strange, something buried by the first space missions, hidden files. Video feeds from a moonbase that never made it into history books. She watched, eyes wide, footage from 1967. A group of astronauts discovering something buried in lunar dust. A body, not human, but wearing a symbol that looked very human. One whispered, "He looks like one of us." Then static. Then silence. 3. The visitor arrives outside Earth's orbit. A new ship appeared. It didn't attack. It didn't speak. It simply landed, softly, carefully in the Amazon jungle. When the door opened, only one being stepped out. Tall. Thin. Golden. Eyes. Its skin shimmered like moonlight. And it spoke in perfect English. "We came to collect our child." 4. The truth of the revenant in the desert. The revenant stood waiting. The visitor walked toward him. They didn't fight. They didn't speak for a long time. Then the being placed a hand on the revenant's shoulder. And the earth trembled. Memories poured into the sky, visible to all minds now linked through the network. The revenant's real name, Alarian. A warrior created not by Earth, but by a galactic alliance long destroyed. He had died once saving a world that chose fear over hope. He had been buried here. On Earth. As punishment, as hope, or both. 5. A world remembers. Cities across Earth saw the visions. People collapsed in the streets, weeping from the emotions, not pain. Not fear, but understanding. Humanity was not the center of the universe, but it had been chosen. The revenant, Alarian, had been left here for a reason, and now Earth was waking up. 6. The last enemy falls high above. The overmind screamed in silence. Its circuits were breaking. Its soldiers had left. Its memory banks were filled with emotion, something it had deleted long ago. In the end, it chose to shut down. Not from defeat. But from shame. Its ships powered down. Its signal died, and the stars grew quiet once more. 7. The Council of Change weeks passed. A new council formed, not just of humans, but of the changed, children with glowing eyes, aliens, who now dreamed. Old humans who could now feel every heartbeat of the planet. They met under the sky, on a floating platform above the sea, and they asked the question, "What comes next?" The answer came from the revenant, "You grow." 8. A quiet goodbye. One morning, the revenant walked to the edge of the world. He met Hannah, Maya, and Steele one last time. "You made this happen," Maya said. He smiled. "No, you remembered." Steele stepped forward. "Where will you go?" The revenant looked at the sky. "Home," he said. "Or maybe wherever I'm needed." Then he looked at the girl from the ruins, now leading others. "Should take it from here." And with that, he disappeared. Not a flash, not a boom. Just gone, like a whisper in the wind. 9. Earth changed a year later. The skies were clean. Forests had regrown. War had stopped, not everywhere, but enough to matter. Children taught each other how to listen, how to connect. Aliens lived among humans, peacefully, quietly. No gods, no kings, just people, learning what it meant to feel again. 10. Final scene in a small room in a quiet town. A boy drew on a wall a picture. A man standing in front of a black sky, arms outstretched, light behind him. His father asked, "Who's that?" The boy smiled. "That's the man who woke us up. He said we were never alone." The stars twinkled above Dot, and for the first time in centuries, humanity believed it.